I'm Andy Searbeer. I do a lot of different things for PSI, probably too many different things. I do sea cucumber research. I did a little bit of that with Eric. I do a lot of water quality monitoring. That's probably a third of my job, maybe 40% of my job. So I help collect real-time data for shellfish growers, mainly in Washington State, through the Integrated Ocean Observing System, which has networks throughout the U.S. And our network is the Northwest Associated Ocean Observing System. And the one here is the Alaska Ocean Observing System. But for the data that I provide, it's usually in front of a hatchery or right next to an oyster growing operation. So they're kind of lucky to have that data for the temperature, pH, salinity, DO, sometimes chlorophyll, but for here it's temperature. So I have a grower just right down the street from me, like a mile from one of my water quality monitoring stations that he bugs me during Vibrio control season to make sure I have that data online. Not as many access points here as far as data goes in Alaska as far as seawater temperature. It's a bigger expanse that we have to deal with in Alaska. But that would be my first place to go for grabbing temperature data, just hoping that you have a place nearby or in your geographical area. So this is the web addresses for the system here. And there's a pop-up menu that you can click on here that shows you all the data assets for the IOOS. So I selected one for surface temperature and found the one in Sitka. So it's one there's usually in higher populated areas, you'll have water quality data, temperature data, sea surface temperature data at your access. There is more and more hope for satellite imagery as far as getting sea surface temperature data there and better resolution. But with my work, I realized that every little nook and cranny inlet has different water quality parameters. It can change pretty quick, especially with pH, DO, salinity, and temperature. So this is a great resource. Keep using it, expand it. It's fantastic. If you don't have that, you have to do other things. Have your own temperature probes. There's cheap off-the-shelf probes that you can get off. X-Tech is one of the cheaper ones that I've seen out there. Cole Palmer, they have NIST certified, which is certified through the government as far as accuracy goes. They range from $40 to $440. Lots of options at their website. They even have a cloud service, so if you have Wi-Fi or cell service, you can have access to remote alarms, remote access and alarms. So if you're in Hawaii or somewhere, you can stress about your water quality, temperature inside your facility or on your farm. So if you have access to some type of internet going out different places, this might be a good option. There's some more options here. So I use basic is these hobos. They've gotten better over the years, but these are just something you can just throw into, a container, zip tie it somewhere. This one is Bluetooth, connects to your phone. So just push a little button. You can see the graph over time. So it's kind of nice for something for long-term monitoring or something just to throw into transport or something like that. They also have, USB connected devices and NIST certified devices too, through this little guy here. That's a Hobo that's NIST certified if you're worried about that. I did stumble across the iMatrix wireless solution, which is kind of cool. It's it's pretty cheap. It's NIST certified and Bluetooth. So you have a little dongle that'll connect to the internet and it'll give you the same type of service as the Cole Palmer instrument does. So it'll give you alarms, real-time data wherever you want it. There's lots of different tiers of water quality monitoring. You can get to, the basic, put it into the water, the cheap X-Tech version, $40, $45, or you can get to thousands of bucks. That's what I use, is probably the $12,000 units that send it. I use lots of different devices, but they send it to the cloud and we can access it through the integrated ocean observatory systems. So let's go to the cold chain. So this is monitoring devices that you put in your product, your bag of product, your cooler or whatever, to track the temperature until it gets to your consumer. So if you're not in control of that, this is kind of a nice thing to have. You can use, these Hobo devices. They're waterproof, of course. You can put them in your shipment. Hopefully you'll get them back a little more expensive. There's some cheaper versions out there that you can just look at eBay. They're all pretty cheap. They're about 18 bucks and up. They're semi-disposable. And then you get that data back, plug it into your computer, look at the graph and the time, and see where that temperature abuse occurred, if it did occur. There's also the fresh tag, which is that Shannon talked about before, which will tell you if it was abused. So it's it's a really cheap option. It's $4, $3 to $4. And that could be something that people use. I think people use it already. But if you want to do some type of investigation, if something's happened during the cold chain, you're not in charge of the whole way, little device like this would be pretty handy.